A crystal chandelier crashed to the marble floor. Guests screamed. 2 security guards dragged a barefoot man through the grand wedding hall. His shirt was torn, his lip bleeding. In the distance, the bride, still in her lace wedding gown, shouted through tears, "Let him go!" All eyes turned. "He's my husband!" Gas rippled through the hall. A woman dropped her wine glass. Another fainted. At the front, Mr. Richard Williams, the billionaire father of the bride, stood frozen in horror. And then the disheveled man lifted his head and said clearly, "You gave me your daughter, remember? Is a deal." If that scene shook you, just wait, it gets even crazier. Before we dive deeper into this emotional roller coaster, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single twist in our stories. Now, let's go back to where it all began.
Alakaztra Fairy Folktales.
The sun blazed over Victoria Island as a sleek black Range Rover pulled into a massive estate. Inside the car was Mr. Richard Williams, a self-made billionaire and real estate mogul known for dominating the market and controlling everything, including his only daughter, Grace. Grace, 26, stunning and fiercely independent, had just returned from London with a master's degree in business. But her father was more concerned with her marital status than her education. "You've turned down 3 wealthy men, Grace," Richard said, irritated. "That they don't love me, Dad. They want your empire," she said calmly, removing her sunglasses. "This isn't about love, it's about legacy," he snapped. Grace rolled her eyes. "Then you marry them." Richard slammed his fist on the dashboard. "You think marriage is a joke? You think you're too smart for this family?" Grace remained silent, staring out the window. But Richard had had enough. He was going to teach her a lesson she'd never forget. On a dusty street corner, Daniel sat under a faded umbrella, reading a tattered engineering textbook. His clothes were worn, his beard thick and tangled, but his posture proud. He once had dreams. A top student, he'd secured a scholarship to study abroad. But a family tragedy, his mother's sudden death, shattered his world. Fraud from a greedy uncle left him homeless. Now he spent his days helping roadside vendors fix broken electronics and feeding stray dogs with the little he had. That evening, Grace's car got stuck in traffic. Bored, she stepped out and strolled down the road. Suddenly, a scuffle broke out. A young boy was caught stealing bread and an angry vendor raised a stick. "Wait," Daniel said, stepping in front of the boy. "He's hungry, not a thief." Grace watched intrigued. Later, she found him again near the bus stop. "That was brave," she said. He looked at her and smiled. "It was necessary." Grace started bringing him food. They spoke for hours about life, pain, dreams, the stars. One night, Grace said, "You're smarter than half the men I've met in boardrooms." Daniel laughed. "Yet I can't afford slippers." "You have more heart than any of them." They grew close, very close. But Grace kept him a secret. Richard had an idea. "If my daughter wants love, let her marry it," he said sarcastically during a meeting with his elite friends. "Even if it's a beggar on the street." They laughed. "Are you serious?" He lit a cigar. "Dead serious. The next man I see by the road, he gets her hand." Richard pulled up in Oshodi the next day. He stepped out of his SUV and saw Daniel helping a woman push a wheelbarrow. "You," he said, "come with me." Daniel looked up surprised. "I have a deal. Marry my daughter. In exchange, I'll give you 20 million naira. Daniel blinked. "Excuse me?" "Just pretend to love her. After a few months, disappear. She'll learn her lesson." Daniel stood silent for a long time. "Do I get to meet her first?" "You already have." Daniel's eyes widened. "Grace?" Richard smirked. "Yes, that's my daughter. I know you've been meeting her. She thinks she loves you. Let's test it." Daniel walked away without responding. That night, Grace met him. He looked troubled. "What is it?" she asked. He held her hands. "Would you still love me if everything you knew about me changed?" I already know who you are, she whispered. I love you. Richard called a press conference. My daughter is getting married to a man of her choosing. The media erupted. Social media exploded. Billionaire's daughter marries street boy. Grace stormed into her father's office. You humiliated me. Richard smiled. No, I gave you what you wanted. Grace and Daniel got married in a small ceremony attended by both the rich and the poor. Cameras flashed, guests whispered, Daniel wore a borrowed suit and Grace wore the most expensive gown in Lagos. Richard cut off Grace's allowance. If you married for love, live on love. She sold her handbags to support Daniel. He tried to find work but was rejected everywhere, thanks to Richard pulling strings. Daniel started sleeping on the floor again, refusing to let Grace suffer. You married me for love, not pain, he said. I'd marry you in every lifetime, she replied, hugging him. But the world mocked until the twist came. One sunny morning, Daniel put on a suit and told Grace, come with me. He drove her to a gated building in Ikoyi. Where are we? She asked. They walked into a tall glass building. Staff stood up immediately. Good morning, sir, they all said in unison. Daniel led her to the top floor into a massive office with a gold-plated sign, CEO. Daniel Roberts Foundation. Grace's mouth dropped. He turned to her. My full name is Daniel Roberts. I was never truly homeless. I chose to live that way. What? I lost my parents. My uncle stole my inheritance. I could afford it, but I wanted to see life from the bottom up. I wanted to understand pain. I created a foundation and started again quietly. Grace staggered back. You lied to me. I just didn't want you to love the version of me that had money. I wanted you to love the man underneath. Tears streamed down her face. I always did. Daniel smiled, then walked to a hidden safe, pulled out a file and handed it to her. Your father, he's bankrupt. He took a loan from my foundation 2 years ago. I own 40% of his estate. Grace gasped. Are you going to destroy him? She asked. No, Daniel said. That's not love, but he's going to learn. Daniel and Grace hosted a second wedding, this time for real. Mr. Richard Williams sat quietly in the front row, humbled, clapping with a weak smile. The couple danced under a chandelier that didn't fall. In the corner, a reporter whispered into his recorder, he started with nothing but had everything. And she gave up everything but found love. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.